Howdy, gang. Welcome back to Fast Charging with B&B. I'm Brian.
I'm Bear.
And you know how it is. We're going to fast charge. We're going to cover all the topics. This is episode 31. Wow, where does the time go? How you been, man?
Good. I've had another busy week of all sorts of stuff. We're going to share some of that with one of the videos that I did, which I think some of our Lucid fans are going to really enjoy, so we can discuss that.
Good.
There's been a ton of news. You found like 56 articles to talk about, which is awesome. I found like 2, but you always take the good ones. I got to get up earlier.
Yeah. The problem is you make so much money when you're sleeping. Why get up?
Oh, that's right. And how was your week?
Oh, fine. It was my birthday. They're getting some late well wishes and all that. I turned old. Who knew?
I still don't know how old you are, but I'm not going to ask. So I'm going like 29.
That's not even a convincing lie, Bear, but I appreciate it.
You've had a stressful life, so you grade early.
City miles.
There you go. Yeah. All right, so what's new?
Well, did you know in Seattle, there's a new program that will install curbside EV charging by request for those who do not have off-street parking to put in their own.
I think that's kind of cool. So how is that going to work? Are they going to have to pay for it? Is it free? Is it like a meter?
I could have read the article. The idea is they're going to be level 2s, nice and slow, which is great. Where they are going to be is yet to be determined. Property owners, not renters, can make the request, and to be eligible, they must own or lease a battery electric vehicle or state they plan to. Flat fee for use, 20 cents per kilowatt.
It's not horrible.
Flat fee for use. Other ones were 20 cents. These fees have not been released yet. So they're not free, but even at 20 cents, that's still substantially cheaper than any public network.
Yeah, 20 cents is a good rate if you're, for a non-public, for a public network. I would definitely agree with that. 9.6 kilowatts, they'll be able to charge overnight. I wonder if they're going to also have something about idling fees, because they have that on the Teslas. If you stay 5 minutes past when you're done charging, they charge you $1 per minute.
I kind of doubt it, because these charge so slowly that people would almost definitely be asleep when the charge is complete. So I think it would be the city hoping to get 100% utilization at night, and then maybe a second shift here and there.
Yeah, it will be. It would be interesting to see how they do that, because it is a bit of a thing where you've got a car parked there, they're not charging, and do they end up getting ticketed if an ICE vehicle parks there? Can they get ticketed? So I'd love to see how that works out, because if they're really the first ones kind of doing that, at least in the U.S., it's kind of a test case to see how it would work.
Yeah, there are a few. Apparently, Kansas is testing theirs. But, every bit helps. And Seattle is a pretty progressive city in terms of climate change.
Yes, they are.
Any new cars out there this week?
Oh, there's a ton of new cars.
Really?
Well, maybe not a ton of new cars. Well, they probably do weigh a ton. So technically, yeah. The DeLorean has finally been revealed, and a lot of information about it. So I think it's interesting. It's also expensive. Did you see the price on it?
I did not. What's the price?
Expected to be in the $175,000 range.
Yeah, that's a steep boy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. It's going to be limited production, at least in the beginning, but I assume forever. And the nice thing that they were able to do to maintain that DeLorean feel is make a wildly impractical door.
Yeah. Yes. It is. I don't care. It's cool, But unfortunately, in my opinion, that's the only thing that they've kept from the DeLorean. And the name. It doesn't look much like a DeLorean. It's not boxy. I don't think it's stainless steel. It's not exactly fast either. I mean, well, it is fast, but it's not Lucid fast. It's not Model S fast. There's going to be a lot of cars that are going to be quicker than that for a third of the money. 2.99 in 0 to 60. Are you impressed by that?
Well, it keeps with the original DeLorean, which was also disappointingly slow for the day.
That's true.
This looks like any concept car made by a design student.
Yes, it does. And I've seen a lot of comments saying that it looks like a Lucid. And I could definitely see that in the front end. I definitely see that. So it's not making my list. The only thing cool about it is the fact that it's a DeLorean.
Well, your list is already too long, and I can't imagine you adding any more cars to it.
Yeah, well, you should, because I added more today. I ordered 2 IONIQ 5s.
Oh, you didn't mention that in the rehearsal.
No, I didn't. I actually bought 2 cars last week. Gas cars. Obviously, it's painful trying to find an electric car in stock. It's nearly impossible. But I did want to add to my Toro fleet, and I added a Chrysler Pacifica and a Jeep Gladiator. But that did not satisfy my need to spend money. And also, I had to fill up that Pacifica with gas because we were driving it this past week, and it cost me $80 just for my wife to go back and forth to work in a vehicle that getting over probably 23 miles a gallon, 22. So I'm like, I gotta find an electric car that is not 6 months out.
Well, the easy solution, by the way, if $80 is what it costs to go to work, just don't go to work.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. But my wife likes to work, and I make her, which is really cool of me. So anyway, I started calling around, and guess what? Guess what every dealership in Arizona wants?
Let me guess. Markup of 10 grand.
It was $5,000, but then they had dealer ads that was anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 for poo-poo, for just
garbage.
Honestly, it was garbage. We'll tint your front windows for $900. We'll put a sticker on it, and that's your security package. Crap like that. So this is what people need to do. I started Googling, where can I get an IONIQ 5 without a dealer markup? And I found a page on Reddit that led me to another page, and they got lists of dealers who were not charging a markup. So I started clicking on them, sending them my information. They all started calling me back today. Some of them now were looking for markups because it was an older link. It was from February. But some of them like, nope, we have no dealer markup, except we do have dealer add-ons. Okay, how much are dealer add-ons? Well, one guy had $600 worth of dealer add-ons. I'm like, okay, well, that's not $7,000, it's $600. And he said he could put an order in for me. I won't get it for 7 months. I was like, okay, I'll put the order in. I put the order in 7 months, and if something comes in sooner, he'll let me know. I'll be in Colorado, so it's a road trip. And then I got a call from another guy in LA that has one coming in on June 27th. Well, June's tomorrow. So I put an order in for that one. There was no dealer markup. There was some add-ons, nonsense stuff, about $1,000 or so. But I still accepted that because I definitely think these cars will do good. So I've got 2 IONIQs on order. So I have 8 EVs on order now. So
will you get financing? Can you get financing for That many cars?
I,
Good times. Good times.
yeah. Well, I've got my other businesses that I can put them under, so that helps. That's one way I'm doing this. So that helps. But the whole point is if you guys are looking for something, just don't pay that additional dealer markup. Do the research. It might take a little bit longer. You might have to travel. The car in LA, I'm actually having them ship it out to me, but it's only $500.
To ship
If
it?
I was to, yeah, if I was to drive it back from LA and take delivery, they would have to charge me California sales tax,
What?
which California was 9.5%. So I'll pay the sales tax here in Arizona, which is probably going to be like 6.5%.
I don't think that's right. I think the sales tax is levied at the destination that you're going to register it, not at the point of sale, isn't it?
You are correct, but the guy on the phone says that Hyundai is not set up to not charge sales tax. He said you can go buy a Ford or a Chevy and they'll be able to do it, but Hyundai won't do it, and which sounds like a legal issue, but I'm not going to get into it. It'll probably cost me $500 to fly out there, take an Uber, sign the papers. Well, sign the papers won't cost anything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You wouldn't be saving money.
yeah, I really won't be saving money for $500. That's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
Okay, ship it to my house.
Yeah.
Cool, I like it. So, it's not the exact model I wanted. So now I'm getting one that's going to be all-wheel drive and one that's not. It's just rear-wheel drive. And the all-wheel drive one has 0 to 60 that's just over 5. So that's pretty close to a Model Y. The range is like 250 and change. The rear-wheel drive is just over 300. So there's a decent range on the car. I think it's a good car. I researched it a while ago. Couldn't find one. So today and yesterday, I put in the effort to find a dealership that doesn't suck. And once I actually get the car, I'll let you, well, I could tell you guys, Mission Hills in California. So no dealer markup. And then there's another one in Littletown, Colorado, where they're taking orders. Granted, they're 7 months out, but they place the order, and there's no dealer markup. So there are dealers out there who are not complete scumbags. And same thing with the cars I bought last week. I found a dealership that was not a bunch of jackholes.
We've got a bunch of great stuff to get to. We are falling behind schedule.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
I'm ranting.
Have you seen
I'm ranting.
the Kia EV9 leaked photos?
So I think that's kind of interesting. I think they're almost trying to go with that boxy, angular Cybertruck thing. It doesn't look like a Cybertruck. I'm not going to say it does, but at the same time, they're going for that completely new, modern, angular look. What do you think?
I don't hate it. Honestly, I might like it better than a traditional design. And if this is going to be their trademark for electric vehicles to put hard swoops in it, go for it.
Yeah, yeah. I like it, and those rims are definitely different. The wheels,
I don't know if those will make it.
I don't know if they'll make it either, but they're definitely different. So, I think it's good that the people designing these cars are coming up with things that are different, because it's been like more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. And I think this is
I hope
interesting.
they keep the oven mitts on it. I like those.
The oven mitts?
Yeah, in the first picture.
Are you talking about the cover, the disguise?
Oh, that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You really shouldn't drink before this.
Oh, yeah. Too much coffee makes me punchy.
I wasn't talking about coffee.
Oh. Man, I don't have anything around to make the joke work. Next time. Next time.
Oh.
Anybody else coming out with interesting news?
Well, yeah, we were talking about Cadillac a couple weeks ago, maybe last week, I don't know. Lose track of time. And we were talking about how Cadillac is not a brand that people are flocking to. And it's always been associated with old people. But apparently, besides the Cadillac Lyriq being sold out, which is not impressive because we don't know how many that is. That could be five. But 70% of the buyers are actually new to the brand. So that I thought was interesting based on our previous conversation about Cadillac, is that they're actually getting new people to come take a look at this car or buy the car, which is impressive.
It really is. And this is a kick in the pants that, I guess that's the wrong phrase, but this is a big deal, and GM absolutely needs this right now. Cadillac was already kind of a dying brand. If they can resurrect it by going electric, they need to.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's possible. I haven't driven the car. I haven't seen the car. I don't know much about the car. I know that the range is decent, but it's gonna have to take a look at it at some point. But they're sold out. But this still would not be something I would order without seeing it first.
65,000 for the all-wheel, 500 horsepower, 312 miles of range ish. I think at 65,000, that's gonna sell.
Yeah,
If it looks
and it's too
good.
Yeah, and it's still too bad that there is no tax rebate on this.
That's right.
So,
General
and
Motors,
that's another.
has
Yeah,
exhausted.
another thing that shies me away from this is that there is no tax rebate because IONIQ, that one has one. So still, Hyundai still qualifies for it. Did you know that the plug-in hybrids qualify for the full 7,500?
I did not.
I did not know that either. And when I was at the dealership buying that Chrysler, it's a Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, they had mentioned that that's part of their incentives. They included $7,500, and I looked it up, and it's like the Jeep Wrangler plug-in hybrid qualifies for $7,500 tax rebate. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I almost thought about getting one, but I didn't know how a plug-in Jeep would go over on something like Toro. So I shied away from that. But yeah, there's a lot of the plug-in hybrids are going to qualify for that full 7,500.
Do you think this is a render or a prototype?
I think it's a render.
I think it is. I think it is. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Remember we were looking at that grill?
Yeah. So did you know that in a global tipping point, 52% of car buyers now want to purchase an EV as their next car?
And here's why. Why?
Why? Why? I mean, if you're watching this, I suspect you know why.
Yeah.
Especially with gas prices going up. It's getting a little uncomfortable out there. While EV buyers are not facing the same kind of short-term price hikes.
No, they're not. I know there's some places that are experiencing rises in electricity, but still, it's still not going to compare to what you're paying for gas. That $80 that I spent on that Chrysler Pacifica the other day probably was enough money to pay for my two Teslas for several months.
Yeah.
So it's a huge, huge difference.
So you saw that only 29% of Americans are hoping to get an EV as their next car. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a little strange, and probably out of that 29%, 90% of those are in Oregon and California, right?
They've got to be. They've got to be. I think it's disappointing, but it's not bad because there aren't enough EVs to satisfy that kind of demand. And the demand's only going to increase. So if you could satisfy it today, you'd already be at 29% market share for EVs. So I think a lot of the people who said no would not say no to a plug-in hybrid or a hybrid, which are both admittedly anemic steps, but in the right direction.
Right. Yeah, I think it's got to be more than 20. Well, when those 29% actually get their EVs, I think a lot of people are going to come around, especially when they see some of the vehicles that are out there and watching them drive on the road and what they're capable of, people will start changing their mind. And that $6 a gallon gas is going to also change people's minds a lot quicker.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The problem is every time gas goes back down, people seem to forget and start buying Escalades again. But maybe this time will be better.
Yeah, well, Escalades are fun, but
And comfortable.
yes, they are. They are, but nonetheless, they still get 14 miles to the gallon.
Did you know that Tesla owners are less likely to crash their EV than whatever other car they have?
I believe that.
Why?
I know that. Why? Because when you fall asleep in your Tesla, the car is going to keep going.
And start beeping at you.
Yeah, well, if you leave your hand on the steering wheel, if you fall asleep with your hand on the steering wheel, you're going to be okay for a little while, until you hear the sounds of the big rig blasting its horn at you.
Well, maybe it's just because it's an expensive car. What if they have a different expensive car? Maybe then they're just as cautious.
You know what? I think it's all related to the safety features that are in the car. It's the car is more likely to keep you in the lane when you're on autopilot. If you do get distracted, the car is still watching. It's not a substitute for you doing the right thing, but it's gonna catch your mistakes. People make mistakes. It's part of being human, and it's when they talk about crash rates in the per million miles, just having more safety features is just going to lower the amount of accidents, and overall there will be less.
Well, this study goes on to say Porsche drivers, though, are the opposite. So if you own two cars and one of them's a Porsche, guess which one you're crashing?
The Porsche.
The fast one. These are every bit as fast, mostly faster, safer.
Yeah, but people who are buying Porsches are buying them for the sports car aspect of it, and they think it's almost expected of them. It's just like Corvettes are going to get into more accidents than a Nissan Leaf, because the person driving the Corvette is just out there having a grand old time.
For a long time, the Camaro was the car to crash, and it's not because it was faster than other Chevys with the exact same motor. It's because it was a Camaro and it attracted Camaro heads.
You know what a Camaro is?
A type of horse.
No, it's just something that was made up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I researched it once and I found nothing for it, and there was no real history, and it was just like, okay, it's made up.
Sounds like a real word to me, man.
Yeah. You know where the word Mustang comes from?
A horse.
A horse.
A horse.
You're right.
Yeah. Any other new cars we should talk about?
How about the ID.1?
Yeah. That's clearly a photograph of a production model and not a very cheap animation from Tron.
Yeah, those wheels are straight out of Tron also.
Yeah.
That car is cheap. And I don't mean like
17,000. Well, it'd be about 20
cheap
grand.
in a good way.
Yeah, it'd be about 20 grand in real dollars, maybe closer to 22, but that is still a fantastic price. And this is what the market needs, is cheaper, smaller cars to get them into the hands of all kinds of people, not just people who can use a big car and need a big car and can afford a cajillion dollars.
Yeah. Well, this definitely looks like a European car as far as the size goes. The range is pretty good for a 57 kilowatt battery. 0 to 62 in less than 7 seconds.
That's 100 kilometers per hour.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's not bad at all. It's not great, but it's going to beat most gas cars. So, hope they make it.
Yeah. And 7 seconds is still a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's I don't know about a whole lot.
Somebody in the comments should tell us what the 0 to 60 is on the electric Smart or the electric Fiat, because I think those are the two absolute dogs of the game.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know. But the Fiat. What about the Mini Cooper? That one's got to be pretty.
Mini
slow
Cooper's got to
off.
be pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it's great. And this will probably be the smallest electric car they make in the world. What do you think?
No.
No. What would be smaller?
The Aptera, I think, will be smaller.
More than 22,000 reservations for this solar-paneled car with 1,000 miles of range. What do you think?
I think it looks like a plane without wings.
Absolutely.
Without a tail, but I think they're going for the aerodynamics of a plane, which makes sense. I don't know. I think I might have trouble crawling into that, but I would definitely try. What do you think? I mean, it's definitely interesting looking.
So I think between this and the Solo, it would be this 100 times out of 100 because it's got 2 seats instead of 1. I think the aesthetic is cool. I am skeptical that they will reach scale production before they run out of money.
Yeah, I think that's probably an accurate feature or accurate assessment of it. The price is extremely reasonable, even with the 1,000-mile one for $44,000. That's still reasonable for 1,000 miles. I'm just curious how they get to that. How much does the solar help? How dependent is it on the solar? Because where you live, it's almost pointless.
In the summer, we get more sun than you. And in the winter, we don't get sun.
You don't get more sun than me in the summer.
We have more hours of sun.
Right, but you also have clouds.
Not in the summer. Not where I live.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Cloudy.
You have zero clouds all the time. Just about zero.
Yeah. I'm looking out at my security camera, blue skies right now, and it's always like that. What do you got?
Trees. I can't see that sky from here. So
see, we don't even have trees to block the sun. So
MD Hofsty was gracious enough to look up the Smart 4.2 electric, 9.6 seconds on the 0 to 60. And Joseph Rizzi said, Sandy Monroe is helping out Aptera. That's one of the clients of Monroe and Associates. Fiat 500e, 8.4 seconds.
Well, he can help them be more efficient, but that doesn't mean that they're going to not run out of money.
I don't think that was to change our outlook on the absolute survivability. Just to say that at least they've got some production level help.
Yes, I wish them the best. I don't want to see them fail.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a cool concept. I would like to know more about how the solar is and how dependent it is on the solar. So,
a quick note, MD Hofsty, I didn't realize this. That was on the 2017 Smart 4.2, 9.6 seconds. The 2011 did it in a blistering 22.4 seconds.
22?
Yes, sir. 22.4 seconds.
And which car was that?
The Smart 4.2, the Smart car from 2011. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I think Tesla built that. Because Tesla used to do electronics for the RAV4, electrification for the RAV4, and I think the Smart 4.2. But a whole different product. Oh.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fiat.
Yeah. Speaking of.
Fiat to axe all non-electrified models in the UK starting this July. Is that super exciting or kind of exciting?
I think that's a good bold move for them. Though they gotta have something that's bigger than that Fiat, because I sat in one once. And I had to open the sunroof, and my head was like I was like, if I had to drive the car, I would need goggles because my head was out of the sunroof.
So these are This lineup includes hybrids.
Okay.
So
they're
it's
it's like a crack addict said, I'm only doing crack once a week.
well, you know
Cut
what? I'm
back.
switching to just cocaine instead.
Yeah, it's not as bad as crack.
I can't speak to that. So it's a step in the right direction. Not the powder, the electrification. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I've heard people really go nuts for that stuff.
Are we still talking about crack or cocaine
I guess I don't know.
or hybrids?
Both, but mostly the drugs, I think. So,
Okay.
any Lucid news?
Yes, and I'm sure all the Lucid guys on here know about the recall, and it's kind of a, what would you call it? A not a big deal, or
It's definitely
what did
not a
you-
big deal. I would call it precautionary. It's not imminent danger. It's not certain danger. It's a risk, potential issue stemming from the car's wiring harness wearing prematurely in ways that could cause serious trouble if your vehicle's affected. Let's just be safe.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to end up being a lot of vehicles where they're going to have to do this repair on. It seemed like it was something related to fastening down a wiring harness properly. And all they need to do is put in a couple zip ties and they're done. Unless, of course, the wiring harness has started to wear, then they have to replace the entire wiring harness and it could take it like 8 hours to repair. But if not, and keep in mind, these cars have not been out that long, so they probably have not worn. They put a zip tie on it, it's done. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's anything that's noteworthy, but as with all recalls, everybody has to freak out when it happens to an electric vehicle maker.
I don't really think people are freaking out over this. I think people are responding appropriately. I haven't heard much fuss. And like you said, considering how new every last vehicle is, it's very unlikely that enough wear has occurred to require actually replacing. It's more examining and fastening.
Yes. But, you know, that's NHTSA for you. They're going to get you on everything.
So there's a channel that I watch that had a video about Lucid, where the guy, the host, kind of a jackass, went out and test drove and checked out launch mode. Why don't you tell me about that one?
Sure. All right. I'm the jackass.
Oh,
Hey, guys.
hey.
Jackass 8 right here. If you go to, Brian, if you go to like 20 minutes, I'm going to mute that. If you go to about 20 minutes and 50 seconds, oh, and then I'm going to get an ad. That's awesome. That's where we did launch mode. And now I get an ad in 5 seconds. That's awesome. Right in the middle of it. Okay. A Honda ad. Are you getting to that spot? We'll
I am
play
there.
it together. Okay, I'm not because now I have to skip ads. Okay. Yeah. I don't run an ad blocker like some.
Ooh, that looks fast.
Okay. Yeah. So if you watch the speedometer, and if anyone wants to take a stopwatch, rewind that. I took my phone and I just did while I was watching the video, and I did that, and I got 2.9 seconds. But I have a feeling it might have been faster than that because I'm just using my phone to record it, and it just hauls it. I was surprised that the tires spun a little bit, but just a little bit of tire squeal right at the beginning, and I was gone.
I like the color too.
That is a wrap.
Oh, I see.
That is not black. That is
it's
a
like-
blue.
Yeah.
And there's blue sparkles in it. And the company that customized this, I'm going to take you to another minute. You got to look at this at 4 minutes and 53 seconds.
Okay. 4:49. Close enough.
Okay, you see the wheels?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They redid those wheels. Those wheels do not come like that.
Yeah, they dipped them.
I don't know what they did, but it is beautiful. They're shiny. The style, I love the style, but whatever they did to that, awesome. They also did that to the door handles and a couple other parts on the car. And that, whatever they did, beautiful. So I'm just like really envious of that. Those wheels look beautiful in my opinion. Just saying.
Lockbert wanted to know how long does a wrap last, and the figures I've heard are 3 to 5 years, but it's somewhat weather dependent. What have you heard?
I've heard 3 to 5 years. The more you take care of it, keep it inside, especially in a place like Arizona, they will obviously last longer. It also depends on, just if you get idiots around you that are going to scrape it. Because once you start getting a tear, it's kind of downhill from there. Those sections, individual sections can be replaced because it's not one giant piece. Each panel where there's a seam will be its own piece. So.
And what was your take on the panel gaps?
Overall, it was okay. They've got a panel gap on that trunk lid that is intentional because all of the cars look that way. Like at the bottom, it's really wide. And then at the top, they narrowed it down. And if you look at any one of their cars, and people have looked at this before, the bottom section, it just has a wider gap. And it may have something to do with how it closes.
That's my theory. Is if it was a tighter gap when it closes, it would scrape. It would bump.
I don't know the reason. I'm just making that up. So I'm just not a fan of the clamshell trunk to begin with. I think I think it's just weird. And Lucid More, who supplied the car, he said he could not. He doesn't think he would be able to fit a baby stroller in it because of the depth of the trunk. I'm trying to
wonder, though. I am doubtful that is the case, but we'll find out as more of them get in the hands of customers.
Yeah, go to 320 real quick, and that's the trunk open.
320 it is. There we go. Oh, how did I goof that? Oh, come out. There it is.
Lucid More's on, and he said a bigger stroller would not fit.
Huh. Okay. That is good information. Yeah. That's not a necessity for everyone, but...
Not for everybody.
Yeah. All right.
A dual wheel stroller is what he's saying.
So not like one of those big jogging 3-wheeler ones.
Right. And once again, I just want to throw my thanks out to Lucid More for getting the car for the weekend and letting me drive it yesterday. I appreciate that.
Oh.
It was tons of fun.
So my question for Lucid More is, have I seen you before? Because I feel like... Have you been to like events or something? Because... I don't know. When I saw him in the car, that's him in the video?
Yes.
I haven't... Maybe if I listened to it, I would know. But anyway.
Maybe you met him in prison.
Was he in Texas?
Prison.
Oh, prison. I thought you said in person. In prison. Yeah, no, that's... Yeah, me and him were on the yard. Had each other's backs. Went to Shiv class together.
Pumping some weights together, huh?
No, Shiv class.
Just Shiv class.
Yeah, very cool.
Shanking 101.
Yeah. 101. Pfft, amateur stuff.
Yeah.
So, my theory that the next Gigafactory could be in India.
Yeah, I think that balloon has burst.
I think it has.
Yes.
I think it has. The idea was, Elon said, let us import some cars, understand the market, and then if the market works, we will absolutely build a factory. And they said, nah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the thinking there is. Are they trying to be fair because they won't do it for other car companies, or are they being greedy?
I think they're being short-sighted, greedy, and protectionist. Because they do have companies there that they want to keep happy. Tata Motors, for example, which, as far as Indian car companies goes, is the tits. but no, but I think they believe they're bargaining from a position of power, and they are not.
Yeah, yeah, that is probably very accurate. They think they have some kind of control over this, and I don't know. It's just not the right direction because I think they have a factory being built there. It's going to it would help them so much. There's just so many benefits of them building the cars there for the people of India, for their economy, because those cars would end up getting exported also.
What I said in my video was that it would become the right-hand drive factory for the hemisphere, maybe the world. What Lockbird asked on your channel is, are other cars being imported to India? And the answer is yes. But the import tax is 100% as the base tax, and premium cars are higher than that, 140, 160. So that means a $40,000 import costs as much as a $100,000 domestic.
There probably is not $100,000 domestic. Is there?
There are some really nice ones, but I don't think they go that high. So the protectionism is just too much. You've got to let them in, because they're going to have to build some superchargers, man. It's a big country. They're going to have to pick a couple cities, and you're asking them to spend what, $500 million, billion, two, for a market research study, guys. And the market research study will fail if the import taxes are 140%.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No offense to Tesla, but the cars aren't worth that 140% markup, and no car is. Obviously, we've talked enough about dealer markups. Why pay more for nothing? And it's just very short-sighted, and it's at some point. You know what? I've heard a lot of things about India, and I don't know if they're right, but it's maybe they're not greasing the right palms.
It's possible. The roads are chaotic and poorly maintained. I've understood that a Model 3 would not have sufficient ground clearance in a lot of places to navigate the roads. There's a lot of obstacles. So,
if a 3.1, I would assume an S would not, but a Y and an X probably would be okay. But barely.
Well, S and X have air, so crank them all the way to the top.
Yeah, and the Y sits higher.
And the Y does sit higher. I don't know what the clearance would be.
I don't know, but when it comes down to it, I've bottomed out cars before just driving through New York City.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You could always find a hole to fall into.
Yeah. But there's other companies that are looking to build electric cars. Do you know Apple's building one? How's that going?
It probably looks like one of my models back there. That's probably as far as they've gotten. They've gotten a 1/18 scale of something, but it's probably fully functional.
Yeah.
They just keep losing people on this project, and it really makes you think, what's going on that they cannot keep management there to design something. There's got to be something behind that, and whether or not maybe they're not focused enough. Maybe they just really don't have a good plan. What do you think?
I think the task is much bigger than they realized, and Apple is apparently committed to throwing good money after bad. And if you're working on a project that you realize is never going to see the light of day, your motivation is limited, and you'd rather go to a startup where maybe you could get a big fat stock grant that could turn into something in a few years if you've got the talent.
So you think maybe they should, like, buy Lucid?
I think Lucid is too expensive.
I've talked about that rumor before on my channel.
That's interesting. I think Lucid is too expensive, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe not if it's an all stock deal.
Well, they could never buy Lucid in the sense that the Saudis have 60% of the company.
Yes. Well, everyone has a price.
That's true too. So, what other companies do you think that are out there that have enough knowledge I know there's been rumors over the last 2 or 3 years. There was a Hyundai rumor. I think there was a Volkswagen rumor, and there was actually supposed talks, not just rumors. The Lucid rumor is not really based on anything except for Lucid fans hoping. Right. Elio Motors is still in the game. Lily May just said Elio Motors, like maybe Apple should get with Elio. Do you remember Elio?
No.
Yeah,
Elio, a three-wheel gas car. See, the problem is Apple needs someone with complementary proficiencies. Apple's got the tech. What they don't have is the ability to make a car. If they were to partner with someone like Hyundai or Lucid, you guys build the car, we're going to just keep iterating on the tech that goes into it.
Yeah.
And I think Hyundai or Kia would have been a great fit.
I agree with you there. And that's one reason why I don't think Lucid is a great fit, because Lucid lacks the production knowledge that, say, Hyundai would, or Ford, or almost any one of them. Was it Tata in India? They can produce cars right now better than Lucid. Lucid is new at this. It's not a knock on Lucid. It's just
it's really hard.
They just need to get further along the line with being able to produce not 1,000 cars over 5 months, but 1,000 cars every other day. So
Canada Collins said Apple/Magna. Do you know who Magna is? Aren't they a tier 2 that knows how to make all the pieces that go into a car? Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yes.
That would be smarter than Apple doing it alone, but getting out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're not maybe buying up some companies that have the knowledge and then just bringing them in. So. Mm-hmm. Oh, Lucid said Fisker, but I just don't trust Fisker.
No, he says Magna makes motors for Fisker.
Oh, for Fisker. Oh, okay.
And a lot of companies. Lucid, Foxconn, Apple. That's interesting. That's an idea. Foxconn, Apple. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Because Foxconn's making cars now.
Yeah, well, they said they wanted to. And Foxconn already works with Apple immensely. Apple does do a lot of Chinese manufacturing, so NIO, BYD, couple of companies like that are out there.
Sure. So we talked about Lucid. Any other American startups we should mention?
God, you're out of order. Rivian you're talking about, right? Rivian after the next one. So speaking of startup problems, Rivian had a battery fire at its factory, which I don't think it's as big of a deal since nobody was hurt. I think these things are going to happen. It's part of their testing and learning how to do things properly. I don't think it was. I think it was just one battery pack. Of course, it's going to be noteworthy.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think there's a big problem for them? You think that we're going to be looking at a NHTSA recall?
Nope.
Because of fires?
Nope. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's noteworthy because it's an EV company, but it obviously wasn't significant. No big deal.
Yeah. But we want to touch on it and say it's no big deal. Just because.
Yeah, ignoring it doesn't make it go away.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Speaking of wanting to ignore things, I want to ignore Mercedes, but I can't because they're coming out with their own semi, and it looks almost like a cab over, or at least the European design with the shorter nose, and looks like it has a decent amount of range, 311 miles.
If you consider a highway speed of 60, which is common in many parts of the U.S., that's 5 hours. That's a ways to go.
Yeah. It is a single axle semi, at least in these renders. As far as the front,
Bit
which
weird.
is interesting. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out and how close they actually are to making something. Mercedes has plenty of EVs out there right now, and they have plenty of suppliers, and they got all the hookups they need, or they have all the hookups they should need. But this is competition for Nikola if they actually have a 40-ton semi, which is what they're saying that they have. And I think Mercedes got the brand name already. So
Big name in trucking for sure. And I swear Mercedes has been road testing electric semis already.
well, they say this is going to hit the road this year. So
This year.
they-
Yeah.
yeah.
Great.
So-
Let's get going because the market's big enough for everyone.
Yes, and that's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Giga casting machine in Italy is being assembled.
You are so out of order.
Tell you,
Or I
man, we
am.
went through it like 3 times. I don't know how. I sent
Yeah.
you the order.
It's you and the crack thing again.
That's it. That's it.
All right.
It's,
It might be me because I don't know how much crack I had because I can't remember at some points. Like when you lose track of how many beers you've had.
Yes.
So
yes.
go ahead,
So,
Idra.
this one thing you see, this whole thing, the giant white machine, will be used to make a single aluminum casting, presumably the front or rear or either assembly for the Cybertruck. This will be at its launch the largest casting machine in the world. There are slightly larger ones under development in the Northeast, according to Sandy, but he can't tell me who because it's a customer. And also in China, being built by a different subsidiary of the same parent company as Idra. So this is a big deal.
Yeah, that thing is massive. I look at it and I just I'm almost afraid of it because I can imagine if that thing dropped on my toe or something like that. But this is going to the innovation behind this to put something like this together is going to be incredible to see this thing actually pumping out whatever it's going to pump out. What do you think it's just going to be like the front and rear castings, or
Absolutely.
You think
It's only about 20, let's see, what would that be? 33% larger, something like that. No, it's 50% larger than the current 6,000 ton press. So it can make items that are 50% larger. And do you know what the 9,000 ton refers to?
is it the pressure?
Yeah, it's the clamping force.
Yeah.
9,000 tons.
That yeah, that's really not something that we can wrap our heads around because you look at a car and it weighs 2 tons, and you try to imagine the weight of 2 tons on you. Okay, it would crush you, it would kill you. This is 9,000 tons.
4,500 cars on me? I can't imagine it. It doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, it's not something you can wrap your head around. So these guys at Idra or
Idra?
or Idra,
Nope.
Hail Hydra. Yeah, what they're doing there and being able to make these things, it's incredible work, and they're helping to bring us into the future.
Last thing I wanted to cover was the new Megapack installation in Boulder City, Nevada, 20 miles south of Las Vegas. It's a big old solar farm with enough power to handle 60,000 homes.
5,208
500.
solar panels.
Yeah, 500.
528,000 solar panels.
Yeah.
That is an incredible amount.
Yeah. And I've heard people say, well, you know, these destroy the habitat, the local habitat. First of all, not much habitat there, not much lives out there, and this doesn't destroy it. This creates different opportunities for creatures that live there. This is, what is it? Sorry, I got to loop that. This creates shade that some animals may prefer. It's just different.
Yeah, it absolutely is different, and I know the habitat. It's the same habitat that I have here in Arizona. There's snakes, desert mice, scorpions. They're all going to survive just fine with it. The snakes are going to not have any issue with it. I won't be surprised if that attracts snakes. But it's better than what else we do to the environment with to create energy. So I think a coal plant probably is going to affect more habitats than that's the solar farm.
So we are short on time. We should thank our patrons real quick and get into a couple questions before we go. Patrons who get early access, bonus content, ad-free experience, all that good stuff. Help keep both of these channels going on our respective links.
Yeah, thank you all of you patrons. Thank you all that are tuning in today and have stuck with us. And thanks to Lily May for throwing out Elio, because that was like a blast from the past. So, whoa.
I mean, so is Fisker.
Yeah. Well, Fisker still thinks they're making cars.
Yeah. MD Hofsty did say an Arleigh Burke destroyer is around 9,000 tons. I don't know what that is, so that still doesn't give me a good frame of reference.
He's talking about a ship.
Well, I assume so, but I can't picture it.
Okay, it's big.
Oh, okay. You know what? That tracks. Thank you.
Lockhart just sent a super chat. Thank you. And he says, looking forward to B&B Mary Barra interview.
Oh, that is totally. She is, you know what? We should just call her. I'm sure she would love to come on this show. She's the leader.
Yeah, you know what? I have her number, and I really didn't even think to call her.
Disrespectful, Bear. I'm very upset. Yeah. I'm upset with myself. I blame me. Mostly you, but
no,
also me.
Yeah, it was me. It was me because
I mean, yeah, definitely, but it was also, I mean, no one is without blame, but mostly you.
I'll take full responsibility for that because, having her number, I don't know why I just didn't think that I should call her.
Yeah. My wife made me delete her number because she's just afraid of all that leadership. It's intimidating. MD Hofsty did say that the Arleigh Burke is the current class of destroyer that we are building. So that's a little bit of force.
I think that would be the destroyer that actually has it's like almost like a giant pontoon boat. It's got
the trimaran.
Yeah, but it's actually much more awesome than a pontoon boat, and probably faster. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for being here. I enjoyed today's conversations, and I enjoyed having you guys all chat. I'm sorry that we ran a little bit long, probably because I was ranting a little bit earlier. But thanks, everyone, for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, too. Bear, I appreciate your time. I wanted to mention that I do have my live stream coming up on Friday. My usual stuff. Bear, what do you got going on?
Tomorrow we're going to do a Lucid live stream. We're doing our flyovers tomorrow. We didn't fly yesterday because we were. It was Memorial Day, and we were in the Lucid Air GT. So tomorrow we're back on schedule with our Lucid flyover and Nicola.
Awesome. And I want to thank everybody for showing up. MD Hofsty, Wendelin, Tech Fixer. We got to talk sometime, my friend. You know why. Canada Calling. No, who is this? I normally get complaints that I don't thank him, so I'm going to thank him one extra time when he's not here. Thank you, who is this, for being part of the show.
Oh, well, glad to see who is this is here. All right, well, thanks, everyone. We appreciate you.
And we'll talk to you next week, 4 p.m. Pacific. Don't miss it.
what he said.